God, yeah. We are live. So Demetrius, I've been loving StreamYard lately, man. I've been utilizing this thing to the fullest because I think this thing looks slick. It's legit.
I know. I came up in here and was like, "Dang, okay, you've been busy. Is this what we used before?"
No, this is all new.
Okay, I can't remember what program we used before.
Oh, no. We have used StreamYard, but the background, I did the
Yeah,
background, I did all like I really like dug deep into it and like using it.
yeah,
So I think what it does, I mean, I guess this leads us to into a little bit of our conversation because I asked you about motion, about the
yeah,
calendar.
yeah,
So
yeah,
one thing that has helped me, see, as a serial entrepreneur, right? Like I feel like I got my hands into everything, right? I'm
yeah,
doing marketing, I'm doing mortgage, real estate investing. I said, I'm gonna do
yeah,
assisted living. Now I got this Google Ads course and the poker and you know whatever else I'm doing, and I found my days felt jumbled and
yeah,
they felt like I wasn't. I mean, it felt like I was getting stuff done, but it more felt like I was just busy.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't know if I was being efficient. And I remember you telling me about motion, and you were like, "Man,
yeah,
this calendar out here," and you're like, "This is how my life has changed. It totally changed my life." But I will tell you what I've done. I said, "All right,
okay,
I'm going to start dedicating specific days for specific areas or pieces of business I'm working on, and that's going to be the main focus.
yeah,
And if for any reason I can." Fit in something else, or if I get stuff done with this one thing, then I can move on. So I have a post-it note right here, and I say Monday is Mach 10, like
okay,
agency work. I do my meetings on Monday. I meet with my team. We're building out whether it's funnels or ad strategies, whatever I got to do for
yep,
marketing. Tuesdays, I focus on mortgages and investment lending. So
yeah,
yesterday I had this same setup, but
okay,
I have a whole different background,
okay,
and yeah, I think I have access to it. No, I don't have access to it. So what's cool about StreamYard is you have different brands. And like
yeah,
one brand is Mach 10, it has the background, it has the red. I can do an intro video, an outro video. So I have different brands for different things. And yesterday, you probably can find it on my Facebook, but it
yeah,
says get funding, right? So I interviewed a guy from UWM. It focuses on investment loans called the SCR, whatever, blah, blah,
oh,
blah, blah, blah. But yesterday I did this with him and I met him and I was like, all right, let's do this. Asked him questions. And that was my mortgage day. I closed a deal yesterday. I
yeah,
reached out to, I had a couple people fill out applications. So I followed back up with them. And that was good. And then Wednesday is going to be my Mach 10 again, right? So I go
okay,
back into marketing. And then Thursday, I'm doing it's still marketing, but I'm uh, focusing on real estate agents and loan officers. So I'm with this other guy. His name is Zach. And we do this too. We get on and
hmm,
it says gamify and it's gamify
yep,
real estate. And it's, marketing now really for realtors. And on Friday is like my free day. I have my poker day. If I wanted to do poker stuff, I want to do the assisted living stuff, I can do that. Or if I have to play catch up on
yeah,
something. And I'll be honest, funny enough, like even today I hit you up like, hey, you want to go live? I hit you up because I'm like, man, I'm done with
yeah,
what's today,
yeah,
Wednesday. I'm done with my marketing stuff. Like
yeah,
what's next? And what I also do, which I haven't done, which is part of this thing right here, is each day I'm going to do some type of marketing thing for it, right? So if
yeah,
it's
yeah,
sending out emails, if it's sending out a social post, like now I could dedicate time to where before I wasn't doing nothing.
yeah, yeah,
And it has totally helped me focus like that, man.
yeah. Um, well, before we go any further, are you using your AirPods to talk?
Yes, is it bad?
It sounds gargled, and I'm
Oh
only
my
saying that because
gosh.
I don't want it to be like this if I can help. save the audio. It just sounds gargle. I can hear you. It just sounds like.
I'm gonna change the mic to this. The mic is gonna be different. How's it sound now?
It
Better?
sounds
No.
it sounds better. But listen, we're not trying to nitpick. I'm just letting you know. It's not synced up.
Listen, you're an audio guy though. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm talking and it's like.
Yeah. But I will say this: I think people prefer audio over video. So good audio is probably better than not good audio.
Yeah. Well, funny you say that too. Is like I've been out of my.
You're synced now. You're synced now.
I'm synced now. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I'm working out of my home. Sometimes I go to a place where I, what are they, co-working spaces. So I have a co-working space that I go to, which I really love.
Yeah.
But I don't have my microphone or my headset. Like I don't really have my stuff set up because we've been moving, we moved and I'm still not settled where I want to be. So I'm about to move again. So
I just got my setup. So I might look, this thing might be blowing me out. I got a light on me, but I got this window in front of me. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking at palm trees and mountains. Let's see.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's better. That's for when it's dark outside, I got the light. But yeah, man, that thing you described of like having days for certain I don't know, like disciplines or projects or companies. I honestly think that kind of goes right into like why I use a calendar the way I use it is because of context switching, or like the whole batching thing, but the whole switching context, right? Like you're working on this, then the next thing you got to do right after that is a whole other context. So I think that makes more sense because it allows you to lock in the zone. Like if you're working on one thing, or like you said, one company, it's like you're locked in the zone. I think that we fight, and this is me included. I'm probably the most guilty of this. We fight how human brains are wired. We fight that instead of like leaning into how our minds and brains work. And so that's one thing. So, but I do think you could use Motion Calendar to do that, because that's how I use Motion Calendar. Exactly how you're described the Post-it note thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I do think that we live in a we're overloaded mentally. There's information rich. There's just all this information. We're processing more information than our parents did at this age. It's just the way it is, right? Kids, even now, like kids, they might be 10 years old, but they're thinking like a 14 or 15-year-old because they've gotten information so much that it's maybe not maturing them as a human, but informationally, they know more than we did. Like the stuff my kids know, like when I was their age, I was like, I don't think you realize, like I was like maybe like 8 years away from the stuff you're talking about right now when I was your age. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like writing stuff down is good, but it's like it limits how much you can write down, how much you can try to keep, because you still got to use some sort of brain processing power to manage all your little list. That is why Motion Calendar, to me, I'm not affiliated with them at all. But I will say this: my calendar is my boss. And the number one thing about keeping a calendar, which when I talk about keeping a calendar, I'm talking about calendar blocking, right? Blocking off time on your calendar for specific things, and like pre-planning, like, this week I'm going to work on this. Next week I'm going to try to work on this. Here's how my calendar looks. I used to do like very specific, but now I just do like, hey, I'm going to work on web stuff for this company or this project or whatever. Like I don't necessarily put what I'm actually going to do that day until I get closer. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this during that web block, right? That to me works. But the problem is that I was putting too much on my calendar. So I always had to push things off. Then I'm living a life. So it's like, you know what? I'd rather go golfing today or something like that. So then I push it off to the next day, but then it's a cascading effect. I have to push off everything, right? Because that block now has to go to tomorrow. Those blocks for tomorrow, I got to think about those blocks. So what motion does is you give it rules and it automatically reschedules stuff. My favorite thing to do is just to give it the project. Hey, I got to get this done. Here's the hard deadline. I would like to start it next week. This is the priority level, and that's it. It's gonna take me about 2 hours. I put that on the calendar, and it says, "Hey, hey, buddy, you thought you was gonna start it next week. You actually cannot start it next week. You actually are gonna miss the deadline because you have other stuff that you've told me is a higher priority. So now I have to go look and change things around to fit it in. I love that because it does all the hard thinking for me. The thing that you'll love that I use, and then I'll shut up about it, is that you get to create these things called calendars, right? So a calendar could be like you have a Mach 10 calendar. And Mach 10, you have certain days of the week and times that you allow for Mach 10 stuff. So you do this for all your different stuff, personal life, whatever. And you have all these different calendars. So when you are putting a task on your calendar, you tell it, oh, what calendar is this under? Well, this is under Mach 10. So you're basically saying I can only schedule this on Mondays. And that's what you told it. So now when you put Mach 10 stuff, all you got to do is say this is a Mach 10 thing. It'll automatically put it where Mach 10 stuff goes. So it's really great for that. And then it has like a scheduler built in where you can like send a link to somebody and then they can like book whatever time. You have rules with that. You have different versions. So here's ones I do for like my VIPs. Here's one where you can't book me for a week out. Like you can't even get to me. You can't even do I can have all these slots open and you can't even get to me to a week out. Right. So I use it very basically. All the features they give you, I don't use all the features. All I care about is the auto scheduling and like just rearranging for me. And then I'll move things around myself and then it'll auto schedule everything else for me. This is, you know what? I'm going golfing today. Let me put this for tomorrow. And then it goes. So that's my favorite part about it is just that.
So the scheduling part of it, like people use Calendly or like Zoom meeting or whatever. So you're telling me it has like that feature into it to where, because Calendly looks at your calendar too and says, hey, this guy has these times available. So you don't even use something like that because you have Motion has taken over the scheduling part with your people that you need to talk to.
Yeah, for my personal, if you're trying to get a hold of Demetrious, yes. But the thing I love about it is that because it uses your calendar, just like you can use Calendly because they're all going to the same source calendar.
Right.
So
you connect your Google Calendar.
Yeah, you could connect your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, your iCloud, whatever calendar you want is your primary calendar. The way it works is you have to choose a primary calendar, but then you could add unlimited calendars and you'll see all those in motion. And then you can tell like the whole, like, I'm busy, like the tasks that you put. I don't do that because I kind of think that like, I don't really have a lot of meetings anymore. So what I'll do is what you can do is say, hey, if I'm working on a website thing on Tuesday and somebody has my booking link, I want that to say busy, right? Then they can't book. But I'm always working. So like there's never no room to meet. Like and what I mean by that is like when I'm always working, I mean like I'm always putting things on my calendar, even if I put my personal stuff on calendar. So I put in margin. So I put in like not break times, but like, hey, I'm gonna like, this is like chill time or something like that. I'll put like a little 2-hour block. So those get floated around on my calendar. So I have a lot of space on my calendar, but my calendar doesn't know that that's space. So no one can book me. So I have this thing where I say, hey, if it's not an actual meeting, you can like somebody can book me and it'll just bump everything around. I just like it that it just bumps everything around because I'm no longer
it calendars for you.
Yeah, because I've decided not to have like this rigid life anymore. Like I'm not trying to like have like crazy deadlines anymore. Like all my deadlines are like super like graceful and merciful. to who I am as a person. You know, like anytime somebody comes and say, hey man, we got to get this stuff done next week. It's like, hey, we should have been known we had to get it done next week. I don't operate like that anymore. I can't. If my whole life falls apart. So there's another calendar. There's a competitor to Motion that I used before. The reason I stopped using them is because they only did Google at the time, but now they do everything. And the old me is I love trying new software, but I'm so locked in on Motion where I just feel like even if this one was better for me, I kind of don't want to change because it means changing all my routine. But it's called Reclaim AI. And the one thing I liked about Reclaim that Motion doesn't do automatically, you have to kind of create these yourself, is you could create these things called habits and give them frequencies. Like say it's like, hey, I want to walk around the block, I want to work out, I want to read books, all these different things that you want to do. And you tell it like, hey, I want these to fit into my life. It'll also schedule those in your life.
Oh, that's
so that you're not it's not all work stuff and meetings, right? And it's called Reclaim AI. And I tried them first, and then I was like, well, I use Outlook as my main calendar. But it's funny now, my main calendar is Gmail. So if you were to like try one of these, like I would go look at the features and kind of look at some videos, because if you don't have to do Motion. They do this. It's the same purpose. You have an AI scheduler, and they both do things like project. Like you can have like the dependencies. So like, hey, this, like we're gonna set up like an ads account. We can't do this until this is done. So then now you can say, hey, don't ever schedule this before this. And so I like that, because then it kind of like, listen, here's my favorite thing. And I actually use this. This is a real world use case of how this was amazing for me. So I was in a meeting and somebody asked me, hey man, when do we think we could get this done? So I did my quick thing. It's like, like, all right, so this is probably like a 4 hours worth of just actually being in front of the computer and doing something, right? So I would say, I'll probably say like 5 hours to get this done. That's just a little extra hour for, getting back into the project. Just in case, right? So this is probably a 5 hour project, right? It's really not that hard. It's just going to take that much time. So I was like, how important is it? It was like, hey, well, this is kind of like one of the main things we're trying to do. I was like, all right, cool. There's other main things we're trying to do. So what I did is I literally on the call, and I didn't share my screen. I put 5 hours. It asked me, do you want to do this in chunks or all in one go? I said, let's do it in chunks. So I said about 2 hour chunks. And I put the priority, everything that they said. And it said when they want to get it done. I said, yeah. So it's basically wanting to put it out 2 weeks from now. And it won't be done until like a week and a half after you want it done, unless we move these other things around that you have. That's already kind of on my calendar. And basically they're like, oh, well, those are important too. And then it was like, what are we going to do? It's like, all right, yeah, just keep it the way you have it. And that's what it is. Yeah. Everyone wants their stuff
instead
now.
Instead of pressing it in and forcing it here, and then you hate your life and you're upset with the client because they're making you do this thing that you hate. You put the ball back in their court and say, look, you have these other things that happen. Yeah. Which one is for you the priority? Because my calendar is saying it don't fit.
It don't fit. And also too, you know who Cal Newport is?
No.
Okay, so he's like a productivity guy. He has a pretty good podcast, but his podcast gets kind of boring because he keeps talking about the same points over and over again, because he pretty much is basically saying, stop over scheduling yourself. That's every video is a new video about stop. The reason you're miserable and you're overloaded and you're about to burn out is because you keep saying yes to everything and you don't have a system in place to realize that you're overloading yourself. Like you don't realize that you've said yes to so many things, and that moment you were about going to be overloaded. There's nothing you could do, but it doesn't happen until 45 days later once you start going to your calendar. And what I think love about Notion is I can see when the overloading's coming, so I stop it. And so like his whole thing is like, if you can communicate, and he said this is very hard for people who work in corporate America, but it's possible. But for entrepreneurs, it's not. If you can communicate to your clients or the people who are asking you to do things for them, if you can communicate to them that you have a system and you go through your system in order to stay productive, you can make your system the bad guy all the time rather than you.
Wow.
Meaning that, hey, I seen you got a new project. Can we talk about it? Oh, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to take about, you don't got to get all deep how long it's going to take. But my point is that it's kind of, my calendar is kind of already full. So let's really figure out how important this is, because I want to fit it in, but I'm not going to like have not family life balance, right? So how can we, this other 2 projects you have, are those still the priority? Yes. Okay, cool. I really want to get this done, and I want to give you an actual deadline. The deadline you want, let's talk about that deadline. How did that deadline come? Is it because there's something else that's going to happen that it needs to happen? Well, no, we just want to get this stuff all wrapped up. Okay, so it's just you want it done at that point. Well, just unfortunately, I can't get it done until this date. You start doing it enough, they're like, oh, this dude actually is going to get our stuff done. If we allow him to do his system,
give him his space. Yeah, give him his
he actually
lane.
tries to fit our stuff in. And we don't want him to be a slave. He's being very polite about protecting his time. I think I'm learning this, like if you do that enough, they'll start just giving you longer deadlines. They'll start to say, hey man, put this in your system and see when we could get this done or when we can fit this in. Like that to me is like saving my life, man. In the calendar, I literally put it in the calendar, and then I just say, I give it the priority that they told me. I give it the date. I don't even give it the date of when to start it or when to finish it. Sometimes I just say, when is it actually the calendar thinking needs to get done? And it says, hey, you should start this on Thursday. You could probably get it done by that Monday. And I'm like, sweet, it's scheduled. So
listen, you touched on something. You touched on something that is so crucial in so many areas of even my life right now. And you said like you make the calendar the bad guy, right? Because no one wants to be the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so when it comes to being the agency owner, the business owner, right? They're like, well, you own it, you can give me the discount, like it's your call. Or the other one, the one like it's just like blatant. I have a tenant, and you know they're late on rent, and like I gotta go in there and I gotta I gotta be the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
And a smart man told me, he said, you know what you should do is position yourself as the just the person who manages the property. That way, when you're going in there and you got to be the bad guy, you're like, look, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah,
this guy, he's the dick. He's the jerk.
Yeah,
I'm just here to collect rent or serve you a paper or whatever. And it feels like, man, that is so. I've been through that so many times where it's like, man, how do you put the blame on someone else so that you don't have to be the bad guy and you still get, so having your calendar be that for you, man, that's
what the thing that makes it even more it's the same example you said, but makes it even harder for them to fight is honestly, sometimes I can give you a discount, right? But it's the principle, right? Or I own the building. Yes, you're right, bro. You know what? You're going through hard times. Let's try not to make this a habit. You can pay it late. You could do that. You can't do that with time. There's time is time. 5 hours is 5 hours. So it's like, there is no pulling from this and pulling from that and putting it back later. It's, bro, there's 24 hours until the deadline. What do you want done in this 24 hours? All 3 things can't get done. With a product, it's like you can kind of, you got it at a wholesale price, and then you could you'll just lose, you could wiggle and stuff with that stuff. But time, you can't. And I think that's what makes it even a better thing, where it's like, man, I'm looking at the calendar, bro. Like, I'm not going to be a slave. I'm not. So, and I can't take credit for that, because that's all Cal Newport's kind of like manifesto is like, it's just like we do it to ourselves. And I was definitely I was like the worst boss to myself. Like, I treated myself horribly. You just, hey, yeah, when is you gonna get that done? Yeah, I could probably do that by next Wednesday. Yeah, it'll probably take 2 hours. It takes me 6 hours. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't do that anymore. And I also don't say yes anymore to stuff until I like, okay, let me come back. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that, and I can give you if that's possible or not. So.
Oh yeah, man. And I think, how to be the most effective with your time is crucial to success. And that's why I was like, I came to you and you were telling me how good motion was.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need something like that to keep me, organized. And my mentor once told me one time too, he said, don't mistake being busy for being productive.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's so true. So when I was busy, when I felt like I was productive, I really looked at myself and I said, but was I really, or was I just busy? And it felt like I was just busy. That's what it felt like. It didn't really feel like I was doing it. So,
man, there's a ton of this kind of leads into like this whole topic of like AI and the best use of AI. And I think that now that the bubble is going to burst soon, and there's a lot of crappy AI companies. I think the one thing that software was hard for software to do for humans is to understand the context of the person's life, right? Like, I use motion, you use motion, but you have different goals than I have, right? And as AI gets smarter and it can actually understand the user that it's meant to help in that, whatever that technology is, I think that this is us getting our time back is going to be easier than ever, but it's also going to be, we're in a hyper competitive, every industry is going to be hyper competitive because other people are starting to use AI. But I think that the people who are adopting it to get to be more productive and have better output at the same time. So you're technically working less, you're giving less effort, but you're putting higher quality output and whatever that means for your business. I think that we're the ones that can actually get really rich quickly as the laggards catch up to this. Because even though AI is everywhere, not every single person is actually adopting it. And here's my point. You're super competitive. You're intelligent. You taught me a lot about business. We did our first business together. I learned a lot from you. And you're using Post-it notes. And that's not a diss. What I'm saying is that there's so many people out here who are hyper competitive that are intelligent that somebody's going to be like, well, I'm using this and this and this. And now they're able to outcompete you because you're just like, oh, yeah, I didn't think AI in that way. Or I didn't think of using AI in this way. And that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, I'm not like this person who wants to use technology every second of the day. I kind of get overloaded with technology and screens. But if my calendar, if I could just, and I literally do this now, Siri will add stuff to your calendar, through motion. Oh my gosh. Even though Siri's stupid, I just say, hey, da, 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 da. So instead of writing stuff down, I just say, da, 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 priority this, priority that. And you can say all the words and then it'll auto schedule it for you. And then you could go in, I do this thing where like, every couple of days, I kind of look at my calendar and rearrange stuff. So I'm still kind of hands-on. But yeah, so listen. Yeah, anyway, I am not going to get into that because we're live. But yeah, so like, I just think that like, that's where the competitive advantage is going to come is how are you using AI? So
yeah, all good. Someone's trying to take your time.
Yeah. I wouldn't say somebody trying to take my time. I'll just say,
yeah,
somebody said that they need to talk. It's important type thing. So
yeah. All
it's
good.
okay.
Well, look, I got to go pick up my son anyways from school.
Well, that
but
works.
listen, it was good catching up, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I think if anything, this was all about how to manage your time and be effective with your calendar.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, we'll do it again, man. Good luck with that call.
All right, thanks.
See you.
See ya.